outset. Venerable Maha Sangha, Excellency Sri Gopal Bagle, High Commissioner of India, Honorable State Minister, represented by the Secretary, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, I'm indeed pleased to join you today to attend the award ceremony of the International Quiz on Buddhism and Buddhist Heritage, organized by the High Commission of India in collaboration with the Ministry of Education and the State Ministry of Buddha Sasana, Schools and Pirivenas Education. It is also, as mentioned by the High Commissioner, of an important event in the world of events. A century ago, our two countries were under the British colonial rule, but our bonds of civilization, our bonds of achievement, and the cultural and religious achievements that India and Sri Lanka has contributed to the world is something that the world has been appreciating right through. And I would say on the 75th independence anniversary of India, India is the greatest neighbor of ours, but more than that, it is a great nation which has changed the world picture on all grounds. Sri Lanka has a very close relationship of centuries, over a millennia with India, and we have maintained in different ways with your assistance, the government's assistance to Sri Lanka, this long bond of friendship, cooperation, historical bondage that we have enjoyed together. Today, I'm humble enough to say, in the freedom struggle, my father was an active member of the India's freedom struggle, for which he suffered 2.5 years in jail in the Mumbai jails. So, for all of us, India's independence is a picture that has changed the entire world for many countries that have been aspiring and wishing for this for centuries. At the same time, I wish to appreciate the warm invitation extended by His Excellency the High Commissioner. At the very outset, let us be mindful that Gauthama Buddha, Siddhartha, was not born a Buddha, but through iron will and great wisdom, he became the Buddha, the Enlightened One. Let me at this point extend a special appreciation to the Government of India, led by Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi, for the great gift and the hands extended of over billions of US dollars to the government of Sri Lanka, led by President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, to restore and foster our shared Buddhist heritage. And also the Honorable Prime Minister, who enjoys the portfolio in addition to the Prime Minister of Buddha Sasana. Today, while 1/5 of the world's population considers Buddha as their teacher, and entire humanity observes Buddhism with the most precious aspects including spirituality, intellectuality, philosophy, ethics, culture, art, history, social heritage, etc. This is because Buddhism is a philosophy that espouses living a noble life, a life which follows the middle path, or the Madhyama Pratipada. A revisit on Buddhism and Buddhist teachings through an arouse of intellect in form a quiz on Buddhism is very timely, Excellency, especially while facing a global pandemic and focusing on rebuilding our nations and our global community. Therefore, as the latest in the line of such collaboration, I wish to convey my congratulations to the winners of the competition. It is my belief that they shall return to Sri Lanka with a greater wealth of knowledge and wisdom after their journey to the many esteemed Buddhist cultural sites of India. These teachings in the past, even today, are taught not only in primary and secondary schools of Sri Lanka, but through two special vehicles of Buddhist education, through 1,000 Pirivenas, and through nearly 10,000 Dhamma schools across the country. These institutions foster the education of both lay as well as the Bikkhu, men as well as women in Buddhist teachings. That is why every Buddhist, at least once in their life, make a pilgrimage to the most sacred Bo tree in Buddha Gaya, the most venerated seat of enlightenment, to the forest grove of Saranath in Varanasi, where Dhamma or the teachings were expounded for the first time by Buddha, and to Parinirnava Stupa in the plains of Kushinagar. Having discovered the northern territories, they then discovered the much wider and greater reasons to associate the Dantapura to Visakhapatnam, to Amaravati, in the east coast to the caves of Ajanta and Ellora, in the west coast, to over 1,600 Buddhist sites in southern lands of India, and importantly to the central areas of Sanchi, directly linked with Mihintale, the cradle of Buddhism in Sri Lanka, considered as the center of the Theravada tradition. The principles and wisdom of Buddhism are ingrained in the very cultural aspect and all values of Sri Lanka, from the sacred Bo tree in Anuradhapura, to temple of the sacred Tooth Lake in Kandy, to the temple caves in Dambulla, to the offering during harvest season of Buddhism's influence on the formation of old kingdoms, we can see the impact and the value of Buddhism has had on Sri Lankan culture and belief since its introduction to our island. Of course, our island nation for thousands of years is known world over for two important reasons: as a contributor of Theravada Buddhism and for the magnificent hydro civilization summed as Vavai Dagabai Ketai, gigantic Buddhist Dagas, long stretch of green fields of paddy, and over 40,000 man-built great lakes. Your Excellency, we are together facing an unprecedented times that are stressful for us all. A time that challenges relationship as we witness global situations of anger and hostility. We must reject hate and ensure that there is no room for it in our responses. This is why the Buddha taught us that the goal and very purpose of one's existence is to serve for the benefit of others. This was clearly witnessed throughout the entire nation of Sri Lanka, when they showed empathy towards the people of India during the COVID pandemic by voluntarily organizing and chanting Pirivenas and special pujas across our nation for India. Before I conclude, I would also once again like to thank Your Excellency and through you to the Government of India for the great support and strength that India has given in Sri Lanka in all fields in order to bring peace and happiness to all, to elevate our lives to better conditions and to protect our lives as a nation. The Sri Lankans have the bondage of this to continue in strength. Let me conclude with the noble words of the Buddha. Sabityo vajantu sabarogo visattu. Mate vavanturaya sukhi dikhaiko bhava. So you mentioned, the priest mentioned at the very beginning, may all misfortunes be avoided. May all sickness be healed. May no dangers befall on you. May you live long and happy. May blessings of the noble triple gem be with you. Thank you, Excellency. Once again, I will.